money fundraising. And today's topic is about raising money for your large capital project. And so our large capital project is Ubrica project. You see it's very big, totally ambitious. And also us to walk through the stages or the process of raising funds. Thank you so much for you all to be here and for listening to me. Of course, with my colleague here, Susan, I have two other colleagues who are working on the blockchain project. Samuel, so people will see you. He's a computer programmer on Ethereum, and so is Jordan Mudemba. And maybe later on you want to ask them questions about what is blockchain, what is Ethereum, and all that type of stuff. What is cryptocurrency? So, let me get started quickly. So, let's talk about the basics of money. When I was growing up in the village, we were told people are the money. In Kikuyu, we were told, Adunedo. That is the basic village level understanding. That without people, you don't have money. Money comes from the future users of a project. The people will want to use a project based on its utility to them. Future cash flows from the utility of the project guarantee that project. Such that if you don't think about the future, who's going to use the project in the future, you don't have a project. Financing is a science of creating money today to pay for utility in the future. That's just the basic stuff, which maybe we're not told in the finance school. Today, I want to discuss these principles using two examples. One is an modern financing, say modern, Current Estate Limited, which was financed since 1931, and a postmodern financing using the Ubrica project, where we use cryptocurrency. Current Estate Limited is financed with fiat currency, and now we're in the era of cryptocurrency built on blockchain. Financing, of course, occurs in many stages, and you don't finance the project at once. You just think about the design phase, the development phase, the implementation phase, and maybe the exit phase for your investors. Now, all those stages must include people. And that's why I put human engagement in the middle of the project. A lot of us, when you think about project, we think about the project itself. And then we try to go and raise money for the project. But we don't think about the people who are going to raise, to use the project. I want to show you how a clever guy in the 1930s thought about people so that he can build one of the most successful real estate projects in Kenya. That is the current estate. By 1931, Baroness Karen von Blixen had realized that it was becoming impossible to carry on running her Gone coffee farm. Why? She was getting sick and she wanted to get out. And so she needed to sell the land, of course, pay off the banker. So she invited a banker in Europe who sent a very young guy called John Remy Martin. That's what he said. So he came from Europe to Kenya to arrange financing for the property. But when Remy came here, he was attracted to the property, but he didn't have cash. It was like most young guys you find coming out of college. You don't have money to pay. What was he going to do? He did what many clever guys would do, like him. He knew he needed 4,000 pounds to buy off the land, pay off Karen, and then he would need some money, more money, to build whatever he would want, which would call a minimum viable unit, so that the project can run. And so he thought, what if I turn the 4,500 into units, in this case debentures, and sell them at 150 pounds per unit to 30 people. See? That's how simple. So you start thinking about the people from the beginning. And who are those going to be 30 people? Then you say, what if I build a golf course with a 500 pounds extra? And that's exactly what he did. This man as well. So how would he pay them back? So he creates the human project per se, to create utility for people. And that is what guarantees your project. Utility. Project without utility is not financeable. But utility to who? The people who are going to immediately use the project. So, in his human engagement project, first of all, he's registered Current Estate Limited, which would raise 4,000 plus 500 pounds for what? For building a golf course, buying the land and then building a golf course. And then he has this expanse of land which is thousands of acres. So that doesn't matter. What matters is the minimum viable project. With 500 pounds, he could build a golf course. And then he formed another company, also privately owned, Current Country Club Limited. And this is a human project. And so he gave those guys, he gave the club itself 20 acres out of the thousands of acres so they can build their clubhouse. And that means they can start having membership. And so he said he would lease the course, the golf course itself. Are you with me? He's the same guy. He has Current Estate Limited, and then he's leasing the land for the golf course itself, which is only maybe a few acres, for 35 years. And so he has guaranteed cash flow right there. So the project becomes financeable. That becomes an exit strategy for the 30 people who bought the debentures, the units. And then he told them, guess what? I'll give you free water for watering the greens. Because he has built a borehole. He hasn't built anything so far. All this is on paper. It's the beginning. So, and then he says, if you buy this one 50 pounds, you get lifetime membership to my club. All right? Forever. See, the guy didn't have any cash, but he's been able to sell an idea, 30 people, to finance his project forever. So the lesson here is think about who is needed. Now, those 30 people become the founder members of Current Country Club. And so, after some time, we are going to be, the Current Estate Limited will finish its job and Current Country Club takes over. And so, those 30 people were also given another incentive. You can identify 15 family members who are going also to be life members. Now, those 15 family members help to sell the club to more people. And so they bring another 131. So the club is rising. Remember, we started the real estate project, but now it's become a human project where you are selling the future cash flow to people, the human engagement project. And so the 131 people become the new members of the club. See the stages of finance. So he's able to get money immediately because of thinking about how is this thing going to be used in the future, and who immediately here sitting with us can buy into that program. So this is another key thing that happened. Now the newly formed club, okay? So he didn't have money, but now he said the newly formed club will complete the construction of the building. That's the clubhouse. So the club now takes the financial risk for funding it, but because the club is owned by members, they don't have a problem raising money to build a clubhouse. So the golf course was opened officially on 23rd October 1937. 1938, after completion of the club, the membership fees raised to 100 shillings for gentlemen, 64 ladies. The annual subscription was set to 120, and so the club has a complete financing program without borrowing a penny from anyone. Yeah? Magic. That's precisely how projects should be financed. And so, today, the club is a great success, one of the most successful golf clubs in the world, with more than 4,000 members. So what lessons do we learn from this? That first, you have a big project, you think about the total amount of money you need to acquire the property and to build the minimum viable product, or the minimum viable element. In this case, it was the golf course. The golf course was only 9 holes. Because Remy didn't have money, he actually designed the golf course himself. Okay? So this Current Country Club is not designed by a professional golf designer. Remy did it on his pencil, and it has unique stuff. You can read the history of it. The second point, convert the total capital outlay. In this case, it was 4,500 pounds into affordable units. Okay, 150 pounds per unit. Then find people who can sell, who can buy those units, and you have enough money to do what you wanted to do. And so he got that to people, and then create a human structure, a people structure, to take off the financing so that the initial 30 people can now have money to do that stuff. Now can get their money back, which is called return on investment. So they don't have to wait for 50 years, 30 years, whatever, but the offtake is immediate when you create the infrastructure. So in this case, the current country club itself, the second structure, took over the project and bought it out through a 30-year lease agreement and the membership flowing, and so he was able to wind up current country club, current estate limited, and current country club acquired the property. So the other point is that on board early investors as life owners of the human project. So what did he do? He brought in the 30 people, got life membership, and of course they were given incentive to bring their family members, and he gave them incentive, and then the family members become the pillar that supports the project, and they went and sold to as many friends as possible, and that is the end of the story. So I'm sure there are many questions. That's not long, but I wanted to speak about this because I see a lot of our people struggle to raise money when the money is just within reach. It is just, if it's a lot of money you're trying to raise, you have first of all to convert those money into affordable units, and then you sell those units to everybody who is going to use, or you sell to everybody who will find utility in that project. So, now the rest of the current estate became a residential housing estate, and because they already have a golf club, the members of the golf club are very proud to buy the land, the surrounding, and then they can build nice houses for themselves. Okay? Let's now see how does it work in postmodern world using cryptocurrency, which is what we're doing with the Ubrica project. As you saw, we have a very large project that requires financing. So tonight, just take a very, very brief moment. Then after that, we can have question and answer session. Because there's a lot of details in this, we cannot have to just touch the top lines of it. How do we use cryptocurrency? In this case, we have created a cryptocurrency program called Ubricoins for building a crypto economics, and which is based on blockchain protocol. Now, crypto economics would be the same type of economics that Remy Martin built on the golf course program. It's an economic program for financing in the long term. Similar to what Remy did, the project has got 3 legs. It has got the money leg here, which is called a smart contract. Then we have the human engagement leg, and then we have the project leg. Now, what Susan explained was the biomedical industrial city, which is the BMIC at the bottom. But we have 4 other projects before we leave there. This is why Susan is saying that's the icing of the cake. So we have Soko Marketplace, we call Soko Janja, which is a human engagement project that helps to bring people at their basic level of existence into the program. Then we hope to build lots and lots of clinics in the country to alleviate the health services problem. And then we implement science and technology parks, about 66 of them, next to our universities, because we have about 66 universities, and then the biomedical industrial city. So how do we use Ubrica? Now, if you look at that entire project, total capital outlay, $10 billion, okay, if we were to get that. But you don't go looking for $10 billion, we look for minimum viable project, see? But with cryptocurrency and being able to raise money at the global level, these things become very interesting. So our crypto coin is known as Ubricoin, coming in distributed as follows: 1 billion coins for design, development, management, and scaling of Sokojanja, 2 billion for design of the retail clinical centers, and another billion for the science technology parks, 3 billion for biomedical industrial city. So to do this, we have to stage the financing over many, many years, probably even 10, and selling the crypto coins. Now, the human project on cryptocurrency, based on Ethereum protocol, which is what my colleague here will give you details later, maybe in a question and answer, is that today we're able to build on the blockchain incentives for good behavior. When you shop from your neighbor instead of shopping from outside the country, you get incentives. When you you practice good behavior, health risk reducing behavior, you get incentives. For academics, when you teach the students, instead of going on strike, they get rewarded. And for people who use the ecosystem, the biomedical setting, they get rewarded. So those are very big details, but in summary, what I'm saying is that projects are about people. You think about people first. Projects are about the humans, the individual humans in that group, like the 30 people that Remy Martin went to buy the 150 pounds unit for the project. Projects are not about money, right? This is about how do we get the people in. By the time we are going to now getting the money, we know how the people that we brought in are going to guarantee the future of the project. This is how your project engages people, and the people themselves will guarantee its funding. So projects are about building community of users. That's what I would like to speak tonight. Thank you so much. I'm sure this turns tables down for many people, but let's hope that we generate a lot of interesting debate about this. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, Daktari Macharia Waruingi, the Chief Executive and also the President of Ubrica Project. I think his presentation is really quite insightful, and also just helping us understand the dynamics in terms of funding, and really looking in terms of your project development, that people are a valuable asset. And I thank you so much for just really helping us understand that. Right now, we're going to be having a representative from the Momentum Credit